Announced dead with thousands more missing. Check it out.
In the southeast, the confirmed number of dead from Hurricane Helene is now more than 200. President Biden went to Florida and Georgia yesterday to see its impact for a second day. 1 week after the storm hit, some damaged areas are still impossible to get to. Skylar Henry is in the devastated city of Asheville, North Carolina.
The numbers in North Carolina alone are staggering. More than 110 people confirmed dead so far. Esther Mannheimer is the mayor of Asheville, where 54 people were still missing as of Thursday.
There are people that died in the storm that lived in homes in areas that had never before experienced flooding. So when you're thinking about, do I need to evacuate? There were a lot of people that thought, well, I'm probably fine where I am.
That looked
and
crazy.
That did not turn out to be the case.
While rescue and recovery efforts continue, more help is on the way for survivors who lost everything.
So it's basically just like a little grocery store. It's like soup, rice, all the canned stuff.
You can buy it with
Hunt is volunteering for the
$750.
nonprofit Beloved Asheville, which is brimming with donations.
We are in the Shiloh neighborhood here in Asheville at one of the distribution points where the community is coming together to bring all sorts of goods here. You see the essential water, food, supplies. There's even dog food down here to try to make sure that everyone and even all the pets have everything that they need.
FEMA says the National Guard has delivered more than 130,000 pounds of food and water to Asheville so far. The cost of the rebuild in western North Carolina is expected to be in the billions.
And we have to think about resiliency. How do we rebuild in a way that forecasts for climate change for an unprecedented event like this? You've got to ask those questions and make plans, because we can't have this happen again in our community.
Oh, it's coming, baby. I better move up north.
Good evening and welcome. Misery and still more loss in the southeast almost a full week after Hurricane Helene swept through the region.
Y'all want to come and visit Ivan? Y'all want to go and kick it with Ivan? Make sure that y'all come to the show, the live show. He gonna probably be there. Shout out to Ivan.
The catastrophic flooding that ripped apart so many communities. At least 215 people are now reported dead in 6 states, and that number is almost certain to rise. Helene, now the deadliest hurricane to hit the mainland United States since Katrina almost 2 decades ago. Rescues still going on almost 7 days later. Sam Brock is following this still unfolding tragedy from...
Why do y'all say that climate change is a scam? The climate is always changing. Why do y'all say it's a scam? Somebody tell me why climate change is a scam. If somebody is willing to tell me why climate change is a scam, because I've never understood why people said that, and I would like to know, I would like to learn today. If somebody is willing to tell me why climate change is a scam, I'll drop the link in the chat for y'all to be able to come up here and tell me what y'all thoughts are. I would like to know why y'all think that that's a scam.
Asheville, North Carolina, and Sam, so many people are still unaccounted for.
Yeah, Lester, that was the real revelation right now. Buncombe County saying that figure went from 4 yesterday to 200 tonight. But with homes and debris on the roads like the ones behind me and communication gaps, it's a figure that is constantly fluctuating. Almost 7 days after Hurricane Helene battered large stretches of the South, the search for those unaccounted for continues as new stories of survival come to light.
The water rose so fast.
Would somebody like to educate me on why climate change is a scam? Because I'm gonna tell you this, all right? This is one of the things, and when I say I don't agree with 100% with everything that anybody says, this is one of the things that maybe I'm uneducated about, but I do not agree with conservatives and Republicans, and that we should not completely. I think that you can do two things at the same time. I don't think that we need to go to extremes to address climate change to where you absolutely ruin people's quality of life and all of that other type of stuff. But I don't agree with Republicans on that issue. That is an issue that I am in agreement with the Democratic Party on. I am conservative to my core. About 97, 98% of all of the issues I agree with, or I stand more towards conservative leaning talking points. So, all right, I'll drop the link. Somebody said that they're going to educate me. And I'm open. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm open to having a conversation. I don't agree with most conservatives on their thoughts on climate change. So I just dropped the link in the chat. If anybody wants to come up and help me to understand why they say that climate change is a scam, I would like to know. Just drop the link in the chat. If anybody wants to say and help me to understand why climate change is a scam, let me know. Let's continue to look at this damage.
And got so strong that I just had to grab a post and hold on.
The devastating death totals only expected to grow. So far, at least 215
What's up, OG?
fatalities now confirmed across 6 different states. From Florida's Pinellas County, with around a dozen drownings, to Georgia's statewide suffering, recording more than 30 fatalities. And then there's North Carolina, where more than 100 have died.
That's messed up.
And search and rescue efforts have taken some miraculous turns. Former NASCAR driver.
I'm waiting on somebody. Nobody tuned in? Nobody calling in? Let me see.
Then there's North Carolina, where more than 100 have died. And search and rescue efforts have taken some miraculous turns.
Steve, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yo, Steve, what's going on, big dog?
Hey, man, I love your show, man. I love your show. I watch it
I
almost every
appreciate you, Steve. Steve, tell me why climate change is a scam.
In theory, what you're saying is correct in the fact that climate change in general isn't a scam. The scam comes in the fact that everything they try to say, like the carbon taxes and carbon, it's a play for taxing purposes and for bigger government and how they're going to use it in regards to this global reset. That's going to be one of the biggest scams they're going to use. That's the reason why that they're going to take over the world because of all these different storms and stuff. It's not really. It's truth. They're using a fact because the times we living in the last days, so the times are changing. The weather patterns are changing because biblically, that's what the Bible says, and every religious book says the same thing. But
Okay,
what
but
I'm
let me
saying,
ask you a question. So let me challenge that, right? Because I agree with you in that I believe that the way that the government leverages resources towards addressing the issues, including climate change and the taxes that come along with it, can be scammy. I don't think that the government manages resources good at all, right? However, it's very difficult for somebody to convince me that the way that humans live their lives, that we're not accelerating the erosion of our climate and our society in this earth, and that we're destroying it and we're taking more from it and not putting anything back into it.
oh, no disagreement there, no disagreement.
Okay.
But no disagreement there, but it's a play also in the fact that they're using this. That's where people say the scam comes in the fact that they're going to tax us to oblivion, and in the future, all this is going to be used as their excuse to keep people on lockdowns and distribute people.
How do you think that we should address um, the changing climate and our contributing to the acceleration of it?
I believe there's no way we can address it. Like we as
You don't
you
think
talking
it's
about we
no
as a
way for us
country,
to
or we as a
address
people.
it? So you think we
Hold on,
should
hold on,
just
hold on.
all right? So hold on. Let me ask you a question. So you think we should just live our lives? We have no responsibility to making sure that this earth is better, and we leave it better for the next generation or for generations to come. And we should just say,
No,
skip it. Whatever happens, happens.
no. I'm not saying that, and I am saying that every person has responsibility to keep, because godliness, cleanliness is next to godliness. So yes, I'm not saying none of that, and I'm not even saying there should be any type of government restrictions on people who do wrong, on like people who like to dump trash in the rivers and the ocean. And I'm not saying none of that. But what I am saying is the fact that a lot of this is unavoidable because the type of change that's about to happen across the earth. A lot of this stuff is unavoidable. You get what I'm trying to say? It's like
No,
the type of times we're in.
no, I don't.
I mean, if you say you believe in the Bible, that's what the Bible says. It'd be,
So the way that no. So the way that you substantiate your argument is just to say that it's just unavoidable because of biblical purposes.
no. I'm not
Then
saying.
why did you say if I believe in the Bible, then I should just automatically take your word for it? Everything it needs to be explained.
No, I'm not saying take my word for
The
anything.
word of God says in
I'm just
everything,
saying,
the word of
I'm just
God
saying, go
says
back to
in
the
everything
original
you
point.
do, get
Yeah.
understanding. That way you understand exactly why you're doing it and you have more purpose. You become more purposeful in your journey on this earth.
No. I'm not saying nothing you're saying is wrong. I'm just trying to explain your original question is why are they saying it's a scam? And the
Why
first
is
thing I
it?
said
Tell me
was,
why.
is because what I just said. It's the fact that they're going to use a lot of this natural, the stuff that's naturally happening as an excuse. These weather patterns has nothing to do with somebody dumping trash in the ocean or even too much carbon. That's happening. Period. Period. If
So
that's the
you
case,
don't
don't
think that we should have standards that then restrict people from doing some of the worst things to society?
explain. I'm confused. Explain.
So, for example, farming of animals for human consumption, emission standards to make our air cleaner, um, how it is that we dispose of our trash, and whether or not we should continue to make sure that we plant more trees, just on a basic level, right? Carbon emissions, the type of energy that we're using, coal versus nuclear power, all of those things. You don't think that none of that stuff matters?
It all matters, but at the end of the day, we humans. We all got choices, and a lot of times these same governments that you saying that's doing these emissions are allowing other things to happen to destroy the earth. So at the end of the day, a lot of stuff is unavoidable. And
Mm.
because me and you, we don't run the earth, so we don't make the calls on like what country does this or who does that, where does this go, where do that go. So that's what goes back to my original point was it's a scam because a lot of this stuff is unavoidable. This stuff is
Mm.
we have no control over the weather patterns. We have no control of
We
what China.
absolutely do. We
We
absolutely do. The melting of the polar ice caps is exaggerating and accelerating all of the climate, all of the weather patterns and the things that's being unleashed upon this earth. For example, um, warmer weather in the ocean is exaggerating the hurricanes that then make landfall that is affecting our lifestyles. You don't think so? The rising of the ocean itself.
I'm familiar with what you said. I'm familiar with what you said in regards to that. But so that means turn your AC off, right?
No,
Right.
that's not what it means. There's not one solution. The question that I was asking is, why do
That goes.
people say that climate change is a scam? I'm not debating, I'm trying to understand. I'm just asking questions to follow up, to speak out of my ignorance, and then maybe y'all can educate me on it.
I'm gonna say it one more time. Right.
Okay. All right.
You can hopefully, God willing, you understand what I'm trying to say. And I
I'm listening.
apologize. If you took offense what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that they're using something that's unavoidable as to a reason why to tax people. And I promise you on my life, in the future you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. Because that's the play that's going to happen in the near future. That as to the reason why that we're going to have what you call a one world system of government. And that main thing is going to be based on the Green Party and climate change.
Okay. All right.
That's
I
where the
appreciate you.
That's where the scam comes in. And hopefully, if you don't understand today, God willing, you'll get what I'm trying to say
Hmm.
eventually one day.
Well, listen, I appreciate you. Thank you for
No,
calling in.
I agree with everything you talking about, bro. Keep going, man. Love you, bro.
All right, big dog.
All right.
I'm gonna go to Ivan. Ivan is in the building. What up, Ivan?
What's up, brother?
Chilling, chilling, my friend. What's the word? Oh, you the dude that was posing with
Yeah,
with like this.
yeah, that's me. Yeah,
I
that's me.
see
I
you,
cut my
Ivan.
hair off.
All right, all right, all right. That's what's up. What's happening? What you got
Yeah,
for
I
me,
cut
big
my
dog?
hair off. What's up, brother?
Chilling,
Um,
chilling, my friend. What you got for me?
well, here's the thing. I work really hard for what I got,
Okay.
and for someone else that's got more than what I have to tell me you gotta uh use less of the resources, but they go and use more. I got a problem with that. That's a lie. You're lying to me. You want to tell me to use less, but here
Ivan,
you go, you use
they want
more.
you to cam up. You want to be on camera, Ivan?
Yeah,
It's,
I
you don't
guess.
have to be. You don't have to be. It's your choice.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's all good.
You want to be
It's
on
early.
camera?
It's cool. I just got back from a long trip, so it's all good.
I mean, it's up to
Yeah,
you.
go
So
ahead.
so
I don't mind. I ain't
you do
scared.
or you don't
I
want to
ain't
be on
scared.
camera.
Go ahead. I ain't scared. Go
Who
ahead.
said anything about being scared, Ivan?
No, that's good. That's good.
All right, let me see. All right, so hold on. Hold on. Let me fix it. Ivan with the good hair is in the building, y'all. I see you, Ivan.
What's
All right,
up?
so
Yeah,
so so Ivan, all right, so give me your thoughts. What was you saying to me?
yeah. So for someone to tell me how to be controlled, but they go around and do the complete opposite, that's a lie in itself already. For instance, Obama, he pushed this whole agenda and then he went and bought a beach, a house on the beach. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying? So, well, is the water going to go up 10 feet or is it not? Because if it is going 10 feet, then his house not going to exist.
Let me
And
throw my hat
another
up.
thing is that the banks are not going to continue to run and do investments for 7, 10, 15 years if it's not going to exist.
No, that's not necessarily true. The banks make their money off the fees and the interest. They don't necessarily make their money off the investments.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is that if it's not going to exist, it wouldn't be continuously to push the growth. But common sense is this. So when I go to South Mexico and everything, I'll use Tulum as a perfect example. When I went to Tulum many, many years ago, it was barely nothing.
Hmm.
But then it started to get popular and they built. So when you start laying concrete over grass, that water has nowhere to go.
Hmm.
That water gets channeled somewhere else. And so when you look at Miami, you look at all these other places, oh, the water's getting bad. Well, duh, because all the concrete that's been put in place. It's not climate change. I mean, for as long as I've been here, the earth has gone through hot and cold, hot and cold. I remember, some years it was different. But we're
Correct.
building more and more concrete. We're knocking down more and more trees, but they want to get rid of carbon. Well, if you get rid of carbon, how is our trees going to grow? How is our
I agree.
trees going to thrive?
Well, carbon, if I'm not mistaken, is what trees take in and then they exert oxygen, correct?
Right, that's right.
But the problem is, so what you're doing basically by saying that, well, we're creating more concrete because the more concrete that we manufacture, the worse that we're actually polluting the environment. What you're basically saying is that climate change isn't real. It's the humans that are causing the exaggerated change in the quality of our lives by the way that we live our lives and how we continue to pollute the air, right?
Well, I don't want to say it like that. It's the appearance. So when it floods like crazy in Atlanta, oh, it's a whole big thing. No, you've built more concrete. It's not the rain. It's not climate that's saying, oh, I'm gonna drop more and more
But no,
rain
no, no.
this
That's
time.
that's the whole idea, though, right? Is that humans are the ones that's creating the environment that's destroying the earth.
I wouldn't say that is exactly destroying the earth. What I'm saying is that the appearance, it's an illusion. You take away grass and dirt that absorbs and you lay concrete. Yeah, it's gonna flood. So it's an illusion. It's not real. And then they want to tax me for that and pay for that. That's a scam.
Well, I mean, but our taxes are supposed to go towards improving our infrastructure, which then allows for us to be able to do the thing. And we need our
Yeah,
roads,
but
we need our internet, we need
I,
our
I get it.
bridges, we need all of these things, we need our buildings, we need everything that we use. And maybe we can do it better. Maybe we need better materials. Maybe we need to do whatever it is that we need to do. But the very infrastructure that we're using that make our lives so convenient is the thing that is polluting our air and polluting our environment, right?
Yes, I agree with that. However, to use the exaggeration and the illusion to tax me more money and more
I don't
for it,
understand the illusion part. You got to help me to understand that. What is the illusion
once
part?
again, once again, you're not following me. If
Mm,
I got a plot of land that's got grass and dirt
mm,
that absorbs water, and then I turn around and put concrete over it,
mm.
and then I say, oh, it's flooding. Yeah, it's going to flood, but don't say that, oh, the clouds is
But do you know where
angry.
flooding come from? Do you know where flooding come from?
Yeah, it's due to the fact of not mitigating how water moves. They're not. You have to calculate how water is going to move in order to remove it. That's
Correct.
the whole point of laying
Well,
concrete. But
it could flood in a lot of ways, right? One of the ways that it
right,
floods is that, for example, if you have a major storm or you have a hurricane, and it comes over a particular area, let's say in North Carolina, in order for that, or we could say Tampa Bay, right? Like Tampa, they recently experienced, major storms and flooding and stuff like that. And basically, it's when a lot of water makes landfall, but it doesn't have anywhere to go. And
anywhere to go.
until that water, that body of water recedes back into the ocean, then that's where flooding starts because we don't have the infrastructure to be able to pump it out and remove it in an efficient way or in a way in which, it basically answers the question of we don't have the infrastructure to support ourselves when we have things that's outside of our norm, like a major storm. So when we have regular rains, or even when it rains regularly in a space, let's just say a Michigan, then we may have flooding if our infrastructure can't handle the pumping it back out to the water, to its water source, or for us to be able to recycle that water, right? So I don't understand the whole concrete part. I think that what you're saying is we're removing the grass and the trees and the natural resources that help us mitigate the flooding naturally, and we're installing unnatural sources such as concrete, which basically removes the natural way in which we're normally able to do that, right?
Exactly. So, for instance, in Tampa, when I used to live in Tampa, they built the Raymond James Stadium. There was a plot, it was just grass for the parking. And then all of a sudden, it's all concrete. Well, then what happened to all the houses around Raymond James Stadium? They flooded.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit here and lie to me and tell me, oh, this was climate change. This is climate change. And under climate change, we're gonna tax you more money. We're gonna charge you more money because we want to fight climate change. That
Well,
doesn't
I
make
mean,
any
there's
sense
other
to me.
things there's other things that go into it, right? So carbon going into the air, for example, carbon emissions or emissions that come from cars, the warming of the Earth's planet, the ozone layer itself, the farming of animals for human consumption, which then comes from, it comes into a lot of the methane gas that goes into the air, the making of concrete itself in order for us to continue to build homes, roads, bridges. How would you suggest that we address the infrastructure that we need for trains and roads and buildings? How would you suggest we address that?
So, in what I have hypothesized in my mind a long time ago was the water pumps. Every time a new installation was to go in, that there would be a channel for water to go through and also be mitigated by water pumps that would be in a controlled state to go into a proper place of filling, instead of just, oh, we're going to put a gutter line. And I think that that should have been in place a long time ago, and that we're smart enough to think of something like that, you know?
Hmm.
However, when you look at the claims of climate change, for instance, electric cars, is electric cars really the benefit? They're way heavier, so you have to replace your tires a lot faster. They're
Mm-hmm.
not more economical um, in terms of usage in the hot summer or in
Mm-hmm.
the freezing cold winter. You have to revert back to gas and diesel. I was driving right now through Florida, and one of their solar panel devices on the highway was connected to a generator, a gas generator. Don't sit here and lie to me
Well,
and tell me that.
but that's supplemental. So there are certain lights, for example, in places that I've traveled to, where the lights themselves have their own solar panel and it's 100% powered by the sun, literally. And then when it
Right,
comes to electric cars, I think that there's a place for it. But like, I'll give you an example. I think that the innovation of it is rapidly going because you can't innovate anymore with ICE vehicles, with internal combustion engines. They are at its limit. It's nowhere for you to go.
right,
So for example, I understand what you're saying about the batteries. I understand what you're saying about the heaviness of it and the tires itself. But like, for example, if you just look at over the last 10 to 15 years, the efficiency of the batteries themselves have made leaps and bounds. There are electric vehicles that'll go almost 1,000 miles on a charge, right? So I understand what you're saying, but I also think that the engineering and the infrastructure behind what it is that we're building, it may not be the only solution, but I think that it's a temporary stopgap to what could be innovation into a better solution. I don't know.
right, right. I mean, but the infrastructure bill itself is supposed to be something that's supposed to be climate friendly, and it's supposed to be poor friendly. I'm gonna be honest with you. I put one of the newest AC systems in my house
Uh huh.
that has the new gas. It's a dual pump and everything. I'm going to be honest with you. A person in the hood in the ghetto is not going to be able to afford that. Not even with a government discount, they're not going to be able to afford that. And the infrastructure bill is it's going to be a mandate. Is what it's going to be. And so
But
the
will the mandate
Democrats.
come? But will the mandate come after they're driving the prices down? Because the price of things drive down after you continue to innovate and you have more widestream adoption. I'm just asking a question.
A dual pump AC system and the whole installation that's required, I don't see it really coming down any much further than what it is at this point. The change in refrigeration gas has already been in place for several years now. Um, and when you start to calculate everything, um, windows, roofs, and then what people want in labor, a person in the hood, a person in the poor is not going to be able to afford it. So the fact that the Democrats are pushing this infrastructure bill in the name of climate change, and then they say they're for the poor people and to help the poor people, I'm going to be honest with you. They're not going to be able to afford it. And then they're going to get fined, they're going to get fees, and more poor people will be losing their house. They're not going to be able to keep up. So don't sit here and tell me that climate change is going to be the be all, but then you want to tax me to death for climate change. It does, and then you turn around and you got the jets and you're flying here and you're doing this and that. Well, what happened to climate change? Rules for thee, not for me, right? Come on
Okay.
now.
Well, no,
Let's keep it
the
real.
question that I have is not whether or not they actually abide by the thing that they advocate for. The question that I have is I'm just wondering why people think that climate change or the theory behind climate is changing is a scam.
If
So
you
I
look
don't know.
at if you look at the averages, the rain averages, and you can just look anywhere across. We've actually had worse events. We've actually had worse rain events or worse heating events than what we are now.
Okay.
You just look, Anton, just look at that, and that will tell you, well, we're actually in a normal stage in terms of the last 100 years. So
So you
why
think we should
is
just
all
keep
the
going the way that we going? Keep doing what we doing?
I'm not in agreement with a lot of what these climate activists are doing, or I'm just not in agreement. So I can't say keep doing what we're doing. But in terms of cars and vehicles, um, we've come a long way, and I think us, the normal people, are doing what we can to be stewards of the earth. It
Okay.
is. the powers that be that are doing their own thing and they don't care, such as like pulling helium like crazy from the earth. You know what I'm saying? And that's what electric cars need. That's what batteries need. You know, they need these mineral resources. No, hold up. Let's just slow down a little bit and let's figure this out a little bit better. But no, it is go, go, go. Make the money, money, money. And yeah, and we're stuck in that. We're stuck in that.
All right. I appreciate you, Ivan. Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir. No, thank you. I appreciate your show and your knowledge. I'll watch you as much as I can.